Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting on a powerful early 19th century speech by Maria Stuart titled Bemoans the Consequences of Racism, which she delivered in 1832 at Franklin Hall in Boston. This document is not just a historical artifact, it's a bold declaration of truth from one of the earliest African American women to speak publicly on political issues in the United States. Let's start with who Maria Stewart was. She was a free black woman in the early 18th, a teacher, writer, and activist. What made her unique wasn't just her identity, but her willingness to speak out in a time when very few black women had access to any kind of public platform. She was deeply religious, and her speeches combined moral conviction, biblical references, and sharp social critique. That alone was revolutionary. Remember, this was nearly 30 years before the Civil War. In her 1832 lecture, Stewart makes several bold claims. She argues that African Americans, especially women, are held back not only by legal and economic barriers, but also by ignorance, both imposed and internalized. One of her most memorable lines is, "There are no chains so galling as the chains of ignorance, no fetters so binding as those that bind the soul, and exclude it from the vast field of useful and significant and scientific knowledge." This quote really struck me. Stewart saw education not just as a tool for advancement, but as a form of liberation. She believed that knowledge could set people free spiritually, intellectually, and socially. For her, ignorance was not a natural condition, it was an intentional form of oppression. Stewart also doesn't shy away from challenging both white audiences and fellow African Americans. At one point, she writes, "Let us plead our cause before the whites. If they save us alive, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall die." This quote reveals her defiance and determination. She refuses to accept silence or inaction. Instead, she demands that her community speak boldly, even if the risk is death. It's a powerful call for courage. What makes the document so historically significant is its layered critique of both racism and sexism. Stewart wasn't just advocating for the end of slavery, she was also addressing the roles and responsibilities of women. She insisted that black women had the right to speak, to learn, and to lead. In a way, she was laying the foundation for what we now call black feminism. Another powerful moment comes when she asks, "Have you prayed the legislature for mercy's sake to grant you all the rights and privileges of free citizens, that your daughters may rise to that degree of respectability which true merit deserves?" This quote underscores her belief that citizenship must be real and tangible, not just symbolic, and she uses ideal daughters and respectably to connect personal family digitally with political freedom. I also want to emphasize how deeply religious her language is. Stewart often refers to cherished and the Holy Spirit and divine purpose, but unlike more passive forms of religious speech, hers is a call to action. She writes, "Oh, had I received the advantages of early education, my ideas would now have expanded far and wide, but I possess nothing but moral capability, no teachings but the teachings of the Holy Spirit." To Stewart, divine inspiration wasn't enough. She wanted intellectual empowerment too. This tension between faith and reason, spirit and education, is central to her message. In conclusion, I believe Maria Stewart's voice deserves far more recognition than it gets. She was ahead of time in so many ways, calling out racial injustice, uplifting women, demanding education, and doing it all with bravery and faith. Her message is still relevant today because we still live in a world where access to knowledge, dignity, and equality is unequally distributed. That's all for my speech. Thank you for your watching.